Sir, please!
Don't push.
Don't push!
Attention shoppers. Additional turkeys are being brought to the front of aisle 12. Please remember.
My kids have not eaten in 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids.
Trump done cut them food stamps off.
If you're poor, don't have kids, okay? If you're struggling, don't have kids. Don't bring more in. If you already have them, that's another situation. If you don't have them, don't bring any in. And if you have two, don't go having another one. If you have one, don't go having two more.
So they say 2 million is getting cut off this month for the scamps. I'm about to go find out if I'm in that number, in that ratio.
It's been day 5 and I have not received no food stamps. My disability checks is on hold. My cash benefits is not coming no more. They're still pending. It is the taxpayer's job to pay for my kids to eat and for my kids to be taken care of. I have over 2,000 followers on TikTok and I can't get not one person to send me 50 cents. If you're watching this video and you can't send me nothing, I'm blocking you.
Well, it appears that things are beginning to get more and more ominous, to say the least. President Trump, and you guys, whether or not you guys know it or not, decided to cut food stamps, and modern women are beginning to crash out. But before we get deep into the video, hit the like button and share the stream. All over the news, we're beginning to see a lot of women crashing out because of what Trump is beginning to do with food stamps and also housing more particularly.
Donald motherfucking Orange Man J. Trump. I'm gonna tell you just like this. What the fuck you mean? Who ain't getting damn November? Cause I'm getting my rest of you motherfuckers, but I'm getting my shit. Cause I'm gonna tell you just like this on Jesus love. I will be at motherfucking Walmart with my steel toes on and my motherfucking helmet and groceries. Baby, I'm 250 pounds solid. Baby, you want to see a human because that's what the fuck I'm going to turn into. If you think you going to stop me from leaving out that groceries, then I get every goddamn body. Okay? Why the fuck is y'all bothering? I'm just so tired of his big back, bald head, cradle cap having ass. Shaped like a motherfucking penguin any motherfucking way, albino motherfucking walrus looking ass. I'm sick of him. Like, it's them goddamn SNAP benefits off, I can tell you that.
Hey, so I work for the welfare office in my local county. I'm in Pennsylvania, and we received an email today, this afternoon, that SNAP benefits, food stamp benefits, if the federal government is still shut down, will not be released in November, and that any applications after the 15th, which were 2 days ago, will not be issued. So it is true. I know we're seeing a lot of different stuff online, articles, but it is true. I've been officially notified as an employee with the state at the welfare office. So if the federal government does not come up and running as of November, food stamps will not be issued.
So this is for y'all that don't know how much baby milk actually costs and why we need the WIC program, which is set to be, the funding is set to be cut off next month. Just one of these. Look at these prices, y'all. $44. This is how much in the, do you guys know how long it takes to go through a can of this? Like, this is crazy. Look at this little can, and certain babies need specific types of milk. This is $61 for one container. $52, you guys. $60. This is why we need the WIC program, you guys. There is no way possible that these women are going to be able to afford this milk. That is ridiculous. They are setting us up for failure.
Okay, so we're kind of in trouble. The USDA just sent out a nationwide notice saying that every state that participates in SNAP is not to dispense any SNAP funds November 1st. like literally a direct notice to not dispense any SNAP. So whatever you got now, you hold on to it. If you just received it, buy smart, buy rice, buy beans, anything that's shelf stable. Whatever you get with your benefits this month needs to be shelf stable. That is top priority. Get in touch with your local pantries, because I know that I am. That's for God sure.
November 1st, they're going to cut off SNAP benefits. This is going to have major effect on all of us, guys, not just the people who are losing their benefits. Because you need to think, all these people who are losing the ability to buy food when the economy is already in the gutter and things are already at just ridiculous pricing. How do you think that they're going to survive? What's next? Theft? They're going to have to start stealing food, which means prices are going to raise, which means they will lock things up, which means we might be in martial law a lot sooner than we thought. Because when they have to start controlling the food centers, the Walmarts, martial law, that's when bread lines and everything will start. Okay. When the food centers are no longer secure, that's when your lockdowns will really begin. And when you take the SNAP benefits away from all these people who already have nowhere else to turn, what do you think is going to be the result of this? These people are going to get into survival mode here soon. Whether they come to the stores and start rioting and ransacking the shelves in the stores, or they start coming to your cupboards, they're going to come looking for food here soon, because that's survival. Guys, this isn't good. This isn't good. And I hope that you guys are having discussions within your community about how to take care of one another. This economy is in the gutter. It's done. And they're going to flip the switch here soon. All right? They're lining up all the dominoes and they're knocking them down. And unless you are a billionaire, you are going to be affected by this. You are going to have a lifestyle change. We are talking about a financial reset, a world currency reset. This isn't done every couple years. This is very monumental, guys. So please take this very serious. This isn't conspiracy. This isn't, we've been hearing this forever. No, you're watching it in real time now, guys. And things don't happen overnight. Rome was not built in a day, and it's not reset and destroyed in a day.
Did you guys realize that there's so many people talking about the food stamp cut that's going on, as far as like people not getting their food stamps for the month of November? But what I'm gonna say is probably not going to benefit you or change the narrative of what's going on for the month of November. But what I am going to say is that you guys realize that around the first of the month, when the majority of people get their food stamps around the first of the month. Not everybody. Some people get them like on the 3rd, the 15th. It all depends. I don't know if it goes by your last name or what. But majority, if not all of these grocery stores around the U.S., they depend on those billions of dollars worth of food stamps to come in every single month. They prep for it every month at their grocery store. That's why when you go into a store around the first of the month, you see fresh grapes. Everything looks so fresh and pretty because they know that it's going to leave those shelves quick. You guys realize, even if it's just the month of November and people don't get their food stamps, do you know how bad that's going to hurt the grocery stores? All those turkeys that's coming from all those farms is going to sit there. Millions of turkeys. They're going to have to get that stuff away. They can't let it just sit there and spoil. All that meat that sits there, guys, they have to mark that meat down and give it to you and sell it to you for discounted prices. Only people with cash is going to be able to afford that food. You guys realize how bad it's going to hurt the meat producers, the butchers, the farmers, the people who produce the vegetables and everything. So this is way bigger than you guys think. A lot of people was thinking, well, Thanksgiving's going to be bad. It could be bad if people don't get their food stamps because they're dependent on it. But just think about how big of a freaking disaster it's going to be on our economy, man. All it's going to take is just 1 month of people not getting their food stamps, and watch what happens in those grocery stores. Those meat prices is going to drop. Those vegetable prices is going to drop. those fruit prices is going to drop. They're not going to throw that stuff in the trash can, guys. Not when they can at least make something off of it.
So you guys reviewed the shorts, and I'm sure that, you know, the theme continues to reign true, not only in the past, but also now. You know, as a therapist, we look at something called risk factors and protective factors. Risk factors occur where environments are more or less messed up, the children don't have a father, the communities are dilapidated, the women are not properly covered, the resources are not available, and those are called risk factors. But see, this is what happens after so many years of governmental control, governmental spending, but also government more or less betraying the family and emboldening women to tell themselves through the art of delusion that they don't need a man. And see, what's happening now is that the government that once was the husband of so many women, now the government has betrayed them. And because the government has betrayed them, there's going to be a percentage of women that are going to try to reach back and try to get a viable man. But the problem is, because of these spaces that many men are beginning to more or less share their stories and share their heartache and share their pain, a lot of men are beginning to say, you know what, I'm not going to reach back. Now, are there some that will do it? Sure, there are some that will do it. But listen, every man wants to be loved by a woman. He wants that love to be genuine. Nobody wants to be used and abused for the sake of money, housing, or also for security. And this is the biggest scam that's happened to a lot of our women, but also American women in general. It's the fallacious assumption that you don't need a man, the fallacious assumption that you'll be good without a man, and also the fallacious assumption that the government is going to always be your friend. Whether you believe in theology or not, the Bible speaks of a time when there's going to be a one world government under the reign of what some call the Antichrist. Are we beginning to see the manifestations of it now? I don't know. It's possible. But one of the things that can defray or minimize mental distress is having strong families, strong homes, and strong communities. But sadly, so many of our women have been raised to minimize the importance of family. So many of our men have been raised to minimize the importance of their masculinity. And because of all those things combined, a lot of men are beginning to check out. They become indifferent. Many are psychologically lost. And fundamentally, we don't live in a world that espouses a masculine virtue or respects masculinity as a whole. And so what you're seeing now is the government betraying a large segment of women in general, because the government is about business. And this is what happened for so many years under the Democratic plantation, where so many women were told that they didn't need men, or they didn't need communities, they didn't need families, that they were strong and independent. And this is what happens when the American government divorces itself from some of the women that they support. Now listen, I believe, and I'm sure you guys believe, in the importance of food stamps or government subsidies, subsidies for men and women that need it, or those that are disabled, veterans, the elderly, or those that need temporary assistance. But sadly, what's happened now, parenthetically, is that many have begun to rely on the government, and now because of the entitlements of so many modern women and the narcissistic traits that you guys are beginning to see proliferate more so in America, you got a generation of women that feel like that they are entitled to government handouts, and they're not entitled to government handouts. Nobody's entitled to government handouts. And what you're seeing now is that some of these women have become so emboldened that they are beginning to threaten the possibilities of doing some type of negative harm in the name of being able to take care of their kids. But see, years ago when we had strong communities, we had neighbors that could rely on one another. But you can't do that anymore because people have become so selfish. Communities have dissipated to a degree that people don't trust one another. People are people are a lot more cautious of their neighbors now, and the community bands that we had years ago is gone. And so this is what happens after years of liberalism, years of saying I don't need a man, years of saying I've been empowered to be depowered. And one of the things that I talked about in the past, I think I started talking about it back in the back in 2022, or 2021 or 22, and I think I was one of the, probably, I never heard anybody say it before me, and I got receipts to prove it. But being self-sufficient in my mind is something totally different than being independent. And many modern women have been taught that they were strong and independent. But, you know, saying I'm strong and independent instead of saying that I'm going to be soft and self-sufficient until I can become interdependent is better for relationships. But sadly, that didn't happen. Sadly, some of their mothers did not teach them that I'm going to be soft and self-sufficient until I can become interdependent. And I talked about this years ago. I even had my guest Chantel Simone, her and I, we did a show together. But I talked about it by myself. I think it was the first video I did with O'Shea, where I talked about being empowered to be depowered. And what you guys are seeing now is a classic manifestation of modern women being empowered to be depowered, because that empowerment was based on self-delusion, and that self-delusion was more or less based in self-aggrandizement, which has more or less led them to come to a fatal reality that the government is more concerned about the government and saving money. And so now these women have been living off the government for a span of time, having children out of wedlock, getting with men that are not worthy of their bodies and their wombs, giving their bodies to multiple men, or using the system to get government subsidies, is now beginning to see the recompense of their error. And so I won't be surprised if you begin to see more of this appearing in the future, with communities beginning to dissipate, or communities being hit or more or less targeted because of lack of community. But to those same women that are striving to do, to those same women that are looking for viable men, the ones that have not already checked out, young ladies, do yourself a favor by telling yourself, I'm going to be soft and self-sufficient until I can become interdependent with my husband, something that I said years ago, about 3 years ago. And once a woman learns how to be interdependent with her husband, that's when she can get the outcome that's going to be beneficial to her and her community. Because once again, you don't want to be out here 40, 50, 60, 70, or even in your 30s, being by yourself, trying to do it by yourself. But that's the lie of liberalism, and the lie that you can do it by yourself. And now so many women begin to suffer the recompense of their error. So once again, there are 7 steps to male optimization. There are 7 steps to human evolution. And also one of those 7 steps is understanding the importance of family. And now you begin to see how family has been more or less dissolved due to the government cutting back on spending. So once again, this has been another kosher moment. Guys, you take care. I'll see you again. And if it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. And if it ain't kosher, it ain't right. Be well.
Angel demanded.
And they need to pay. Somebody needs to be held accountable, and they need to pay.
When I first met Angel, she was living in a 1-bedroom motel. 12 of her children were sharing just 2 beds. And Angel demanded that someone pay for her to move into a new house. With the help of the Department of Children and Families,